plus life.
Guys, players, welcome. Welcome, guys, to Sports Plus Live Baby Podcast, episode number 6. And The Last Dance, episodes 5 and 6 is what we're talking about today. Literally just got done watching it about a half hour ago. And right now, it just keeps getting better and better. This is going to win an Emmy, an Oscar. It's going to win possibly a Grammy. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's going to win everything because Michael Jordan is involved around it. Michael Jordan is competitive. Won't let him win, take anything other than the best. And it just keeps getting better and better. And it keeps showing why Michael Jordan is the best player to ever live. He is the best player, probably one of the best athletes to ever live. There was just nobody like him, and it just keeps showing and growing on why he is the best player ever. Episode number 5, it started out with the dedication to Kobe Bryant, and it also had Kobe Bryant in that episode. They talked about the second of the first 3P championships. So they've 3P'd 91, 92, 93, and then 96, 97, 98. Which is the whole thing is evolved around The Last Dance, was in 1998 when they won the last championship. They keep jumping back and forth. If you guys haven't caught on yet, if you haven't watched this before, they jump back and forth to kind of tell a story. It was a long time in the process, going all the way back from when Jordan got drafted in 84, was it? I can't remember exactly now off the top of my head. 85, 86, something like that. And I should really know that. I'm going to look it up. This is going to really bother the crap out of me if I don't look that up. But anyways, I spelled Michael Jordan wrong. Never mind. Don't you guys worry about it. 1984. Sorry about that. Just remember that. This was that episode that, when they won in 1992. And they even goes back to, it's going to bother me if, what I got from that episode was Michael Jordan is the man that fathered the league you see today. A lot of these guys don't touch a basketball if it wasn't for Michael Jordan. To be honest with you, I honestly think so. A lot of people don't get to this point without Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan groomed one of the other best players, and that's Kobe Bryant. He even gone out and said it. I don't win 5 championships if it wasn't for Michael Jordan. A lot of you see it, and you can see it. The fadeaway, the competitiveness, the drive, the willingness to be the best. That all comes from Michael Jordan. And when you see Michael Jordan, you're watching this documentary, The Last Dance. I mean, you can see where Kobe Bryant gets his game from. That's one of the big reasons why I call Kobe Bryant the second best player ever. Obviously, he's a clone of Michael Jordan. He mimics his game off of Michael Jordan. I think it was that episode as well, number 5, or just one of those two, is where they said they wanted, everyone wanted to be like Mike. And still to this day, everyone wants to be like Mike. I honestly do believe that. It's just crazy to think. It's just crazy to think this, 1992. This is just so as a competitive from Michael Jordan. Competitiveness of Michael Jordan. His willingness to be the best. 1992, he wins the championship. A week or two later, he turns around and goes to the Olympics and plays in the Olympics in Barcelona. Goes to the Olympics. They win a gold medal. Comes back. Obviously, doesn't go back to October. And then wins another championship right after that. There's no one in this league, and I mean nobody, that would do that. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, definitely no Dame Lillard, no CJ McCollum, no Russell Westbrook, no James Harden, None of the greats that I just mentioned would ever do that. And I use great loosely. We're in a different league at different times. There won't be no Kawhi Leonard. No Kawhi Leonard, no Kyle Lowry. I mean, you won't see any of those type of guys do that. I mean, Kawhi Leonard maybe, but other than that, I don't see anyone else doing that. It's just different. It's very, very different. There's a different drive, different competitiveness. These guys wanted to beat each other. You watch this document. They wanted to beat Michael. We hated each other. They weren't friends. They weren't homies. During the offseason, they weren't going to go. They probably would play golf, but they weren't going to go, get in a banana boat with their homies in the offseason and their wives and be all buddy-buddy and chubby-chubby. I think that's why you see a lot of these. One, nowadays, definitely less physical. Way less physical. Two, because of because of the way the game's refereed, because of the physicality of the game, or lack thereof, physicality of the game, you see high scoring games. You don't see low scoring games. In those games, the playoff games, like in a lot of those games, you were seeing 89 to 81, barely even breaking 90 points most of the times. It was just different. They played the same amount of games, 82 games. It was just different. It was more physical, more competitive. There was less camaraderie. There was a hatred, even amongst fans. I don't know where all went wrong. That's the basketball that I remember. Even today, you rarely see let's take an example for today. I go to a Denver Nuggets game. Denver Nuggets against the Lakers. I'll probably see more Lakers jerseys than Nuggets jerseys in Denver. Yeah, I don't recall seeing that, unless the only thing you would see would be a Michael Jordan jersey. That's about it. Now, here now, especially in Denver, given the melted pot it is, you'll see Lakers, you'll see Bulls, you'll see you'll see everything else kind of mixed in with all. You see just a solid state of Denver Nuggets jerseys. But that just goes to show that it's a commitment, a competitiveness. It just boils down to the game just being different. And I'm so glad that this is going on in this time right now, where there's no basketball right now, where we should have basketball. We should be deep into the playoffs right now, at least second round, I believe. And it's shedding a different light on these players now. It's shedding a way different light than all these guys. There's no one like Michael Jordan. There's no one like Scottie Pippen. No one like Dennis Rodman. There's no one like someone like Bill Paxton. You don't see a whole lot of guys like that. Steve Kerr, like that. That's why these teams are different. Like I said, it just boils down to it being different. Michael Jordan realized that he wasn't going to get to the finals if he didn't change some things. Not change players, not change scenery, not change friends. He changed his mentality, his physical look. He knew if he was going to beat the Pistons, he had to gain more weight. They had to maybe add a couple more pieces. He didn't remove himself from the situation and say, all right, I'm not going to do it this team. I'm going to go find a whole different team. He didn't do that. They figured it out as a team, as an organization. You just won't see that like this anymore. It's what have you done for me lately? It's really eye-opening, to be honest with you. And that's just me saying this. A lot of other people, especially this generation, would see it differently. I don't think anybody in this generation could go back there and play the way they did. There's a lot of people from over there who could come over here and do the same thing, who could still dominate. I still think Patrick Ewing would do very well here in this league. Scottie Pippen, definitely. Dennis Rodman, definitely. It's just, yeah. It's just different. It was a different time. Just different competitiveness you just don't see anymore. And then, I keep repeating myself. I just can't. I think I figured it out. It's just competitiveness. I don't, we're not, just like the Pistons walked off on the court after getting swept. They didn't shake their hands. They're like, fuck, fuck you. You beat the shit out of us. I'm out. It wasn't like, hey, buddy, good job. Good luck. Go get him. Oh, I'll talk to you in the off season. Yeah. I want you to come here. Covering their mouth, doing this shit. Talking about, oh, yeah, I don't want the media. Very, very soft league we have today. And this is just a breath of fresh air for someone like me. Definitely a little bit more old school. I grew up in that time. It's just a breath of fresh air. Everything is just a breath of fresh air. The way, Michael Jordan didn't want Nike. He wanted Adidas. Nike wasn't the stuff. It was Converse. It was Adidas. It wasn't Nike back then. Nike owes a lot to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. Then he went out and got his own shoe, the Jordan 1s, which till this day are probably one of the best, most popular selling shoe ever. Because they keep coming out with different variants, different colors, different whatevers of the Jordan 1s. And, it's just timeless. I don't know if anyone was going to go back and buy LeBron James foams or whatever in 10 years. Everything was just, it just showed everything. This guy had an aura around him. But it pays to the, goes to the competitiveness of Michael Jordan, he's willing not to lose. He plays to win. And it was very, very crazy to see. Very, very crazy to see that. I didn't know that. I didn't know he wanted Adidas. He didn't want Nike. And Nike gave him money. A lot of money, a lot more money than they would give a rookie back then. But it paid off. And it paid off tenfold. Look at billions of dollars later. It paid off. They did give a shine to, I think, someone you don't even talk about, Tony Kukoc in the episode number 5. Talking about Tony Kukoc. I love Tony Kukoc, man. The guy was different, lengthy, could shoot a 3, very athletic. What do they call him? They called him the left-handed Magic Johnson or something like that. Just take it easy. He did win some championships, but it wasn't like Magic Johnson-esque. Tony Kukoc, man, he was one of my favorite Bulls back in the day. I remember watching him. There was a lot of, I was a big Michael Jordan fan. Obviously, you watch these guys. And Tony Kukoc was probably one of my favorites outside of Michael Jordan. Number 7, the C. He was Cristiano Ronaldo. C. Tony Kukoc was TC7 before CR7. Just kidding. Just joshing, guys. Don't get your panties in a bunch. One thing they also highlighted in episode number 6, starting in episode number 6 was, Michael Jordan was real. They kind of humanized him a little bit. In episode number 6 with the media, with that book coming out about Michael. Apparently he had a quote unquote gambling problem. But I think he was right. Michael Jordan was right in that the worst thing that anyone's going to say about Michael Jordan is that I like to gamble. And he was right. I didn't hear anything else other than that. He was just real. Dude, you try being in his shoes. Constant people in your shit, fucking, hey, are you leaving? Do you have a gambling problem? Hey, do you do this? Do you do that? What are you doing in Atlantic City? People making shit up about you. 1993, I think is what it was. It was, there's nobody other than right now. The only people I can think about who could do media and handle the media. And that's kind of what's kind of different between LeBron James and Michael Jordan. LeBron James is kind of like a cookie cutter. There's like little spurts here and there of, Michael Jordan, LeBron's jumping in this person's DM and blah, blah, blah. Dude, you can't believe anything you hear nowadays. Back then, you heard it. They're like, oh shit, it had to be true. Like it was true, There's a lot of, you can fact check a whole lot of people now. They're screenshots. They're this. There's that. Whatever. But yeah, they did. Kind of. The godlike aura of Michael Jordan, especially after that. You saw it in that 1992 Barcelona Olympics. Big old posters, Michael Jordan. Everyone went to go see Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan this. They didn't go see this. They went to see Michael Jordan. And then like the year before that, was that? A year before that, or the episodes before that is what I meant to say. They went to France, and but they kind of humanized him a little bit. Brought him back down a little, just, he's real. I mean, this is crazy. That's what people don't realize. He's a real human being. Holy shit. Yeah, the guy can, walk on air. He's real. I mean, he just likes to bet on himself. That's what he likes to do. He didn't bet on games. He didn't bet on anything else other than golfing himself. And it's a big deal. So many people like to bet. There's just different types of betting. It's whatever. If you mean $10,000 to him was $10 to me, that's how he bet, because he had it. I'd bet $10,000 if I had it, and I'd win too. I'm a great bettor. Just kidding. Sports betting, I'm okay. Like fighting, like I could probably do pretty good at fighting, but I suck. Even then, I'm kind of spotty, but I suck at everything else. I remember a lot of people call me at soccer. They're like, "Hey, who's gonna win this? I'll bet this money, whatever you say." Yeah, bet this. And then all of a sudden, Liverpool wins 4-0 against Barcelona in the second leg of the Champions League semifinals. Is what it is, man. But people he just likes to bet. He was a human, definitely had his flaws like everyone else. But that's what makes those teams just amazing. People understood. Phil Jackson understood the players he had, understand them as people, understood them as people, understood them as players, and they just gelled way better. That's why they won. Collectively, a lot of those guys collectively won 6 titles together in the span of 8 years, which is pretty crazy. But I mean, you look at that three-peat. You look at that three-peat. You look at what the Bulls had to be in general. I mean, like I said, a lot of those games were under 90 points each, 89, 81, 89, 86. The physicality of the Knicks mixed with the athleticism. You had people, Charles Oakley. You had Patrick Ewing, Anthony Mason, John Starks. Those are tough dudes. I remember those games back in the day, and just tough individuals. They just weren't going to back down. You just saw that in those games. They just weren't going to back down. But it goes to show how good Michael Jordan and those Bulls teams were. I don't think a lot of people can deny. After this, you can't deny Michael Jordan's the best player ever. The way he took control over these games, physical games. He wasn't LeBron James, 6'8", 250 pounds. Flopping around, getting these calls. No, he was going into the paint, going to the rack, getting hit, and still trying to get buckets. He wasn't doing this shit. He wasn't. All right, it's enough. I'm not going to bash these guys anymore, but you just can't deny the greatness. There's no way you're going to be able to do it. And then go in, beat Phoenix in 6 games with Charles Barkley. I remember Dan Marley. Dan Marley is pretty vicious. Danny Ainge, just a veteran team like that. The one thing you got to take, what I'm trying to send messages every time I see these, every time, trying to take my own little message and, blurt it out to you it was just different. It was just different back then. I think it was better, more physical. They weren't babying. Nobody was safe. And that's what stands out. I mean, there was just different. It was just different work ethic, different competitiveness, different mentalities, different physicalities, different coaching. It was just different. But I love it. The Emmy winning, the Oscar winning. The Last Dance has been put together. It was exceeded my expectations and then some. It was just I thought it was I heard Netflix is gonna be part of it. Then I heard Netflix and ESPN. And I was like, okay, well, ESPN, loves LeBron. Loves we know ESPN by now. This was this has been very, very well put. Halfway through, we still got 4 more episodes to go. 2 next week, 2 the week after, I believe. I'm excited, man. It just gets better and better. It's gonna be pretty cool. I think next week they do. I know because they win the 3P, and I think Michael Jordan goes and says, "I'm gonna play baseball." And one thing I missed too, and I didn't talk about it, was in I I forgot the guy's name. Oh, I can't remember his name. But it's gonna come to me after I get done recording. But he goes to say, I think Magic Johnson at one point says to the media that you guys are gonna run this kid away from the game. And he wasn't totally off. I think he goes plays baseball for the 3P, I believe. Because they didn't. Like, those 2 years in between is when the Rockets won those 2 back-to-backs, I believe. Yeah, if I remember, we're gonna have to wait and see. Tune in next time and see what happens on the Sports Plus Live Baby Podcast, episode number 7. Is this 6? I don't know if I got that wrong. This is episode number 6. If I messed it up, we'll have to go back and edit that. But yeah, guys, crazy stuff, cool stuff going on. I love this. Every Sunday, I plop my ass down. Everything goes away. Nobody calls me. Nobody texts me except for Coach. And, there's no bother. Everything goes away. I love it. That's what I love about sports. And sports is almost on the brink of coming back. UFC's, it's fight week. It's officially fight week right now. And it's on its way back, and I couldn't be more happy, man. I'm about to cry right now. Seriously, I don't know if you guys can hear, but I'm about to cry right now. And I'm excited. And we're definitely going to talk about it on Sports Plus Live Podcast, episode number 44. And we're almost there to 52, so keep an eye out. But right now, thank you guys for so much for joining me. Sports Plus Live Baby Podcast, episode number 6, the Last Dance episodes number 5 and 6. Go catch me on MRAKACO on Instagram and Twitter. Sports Plus Life on Instagram and Twitter. Sports Plus Life YouTube, or this is going to go exclusively on YouTube. And then find me on Twitch, MRAKACO. Come say hi, drop a line. Remember, I dropped that earlier. Drop a line, old school. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I will see you guys next time. So until then,